On the 11th day since the crash, still alone, Julianne wonders if she should continue moving, knowing that these shelters are only used sporadically. She briefly considers taking the boat, but decides against it, thinking the owner might need it and doubting her ability to navigate in her weakened state. By midday, it's pouring rain, and she shelters in the tambo, occasionally trying to catch frogs without success. As twilight falls, she suddenly hears voices, and initially thinks she's imagining them. But then 3 men suddenly emerge from the forest, stopping in shock at the sight of her. Local lumberjacks returning to their boat find her, a ghostly figure with blood-red eyes covered in mud and leaves. They were shocked and initially frightened, believing her to be a water spirit from local lore. Once they understood what she said in Spanish, they were even more astounded that she had survived the crash that they had heard so much about. They helped treat her wounds as best they could and remove another 50 maggots from her arm. That night, they all stayed in the tambo and started the long trek by boat the next morning. The journey was slow, and each mile revealed more of the perilous environment Julianne had somehow survived. Each hour seemed to stretch endlessly as they made their way through a seemingly never-ending landscape of thick vegetation and swampy rivers. After 7 hours, the boat reached a small village, a remote outpost on the fringes of the jungle. From there, Julianne was able to get medical attention for her injuries. The villagers arranged for her to be flown to a hospital in Polcopa, where she was reunited with her father. It was during this reunion that Julianne learned the heartbreaking truth. Her mother, Maria, had also survived the crash, but had died sometime afterward from her injuries.